Hi friends, hi everyone, welcome to our channel BS Civil Engineer. In this video, we are going to discuss about preparation of estimates. So when we are preparing an estimate, what are the information that to be gathered before we prepare an estimate? What is the importance of that information? How, in what way we are going to depend on that information while preparing an estimate. So that is what we are going to discuss now in this video. So let us move into this video. Uh, so this is our topic, preparation of estimate. Okay, so let us see what is discussed here. So firstly, preparation of estimates. In the preparation of estimates, the first one is the actual architectural plans. Architectural plans are very important. So on basis of which we are going to construct the structure. So on basis of this architectural plan only we are going to construct the structure. So that is why these architectural plans are very important. So that is first one. Second one, structural drawings. Structural drawings are also very important when we are preparing the estimates. Why? Because when we compare with architectural plans, in the architectural plan we are going to know only the dimensions of some components like room dimensions will be knowing from the architectural plan. Okay, similarly spacings we are going to know, outside spacing, inside spacing, and inside rear openings, dimensions of rooms, bedroom dimensions, kitchen dimensions, or veranda dimensions, or water closet or toilet block dimension, toilets dimensions. All that only we are going to know from architectural plan. So whereas structural drawing, coming to the structural drawing, we are going to get the information regarding the steel, quantity of steel, where we have to provide the steel. Similarly, what is the depth of the beam, depth of the slab. So like that, structural components dimensions we are going to know. So when you are preparing an estimate, all the time, not only with the architectural plan, we have to depend on the structural drawings too. Why? Because in some components, when we are calculating some components, architectural plans are very useful. Why? Because in order to calculate the, for example, length of a wall, brick wall, length of the brick wall, if you want to calculate, you can calculate the inner to inner dimensions of the room. From that you can calculate the brick wall dimensions. But whereas when you are calculating quantity of concrete, how much quantity of concrete is required for a foundation, if you take, in that case, we want to know the dimensions of the footings, dimensions of the pedestal, dimensions of the column which are going to be laid one by one. So that can be extracted, or that information will be getting from the structural drawings only. So that way architectural plans are useful in some aspects when we are estimating some components. Structural drawings are also useful when we are calculating some components. So that way architectural plans and structural drawings are very useful. And third one, coming to the third one, current building standard schedule of rates. So this third one is standard schedule of rates. So current rates, current building standard schedule of rates means at present what is existing, or what is at present running on, which SSR, which year SSR is going to be executed at present. So that latest SSR we have to adopt, that is what we call current building standard schedule of rates. So here what is the standard schedule of rates means it is a standardized manual for attaining the labor charges. From the standard schedule of rates only we have to adopt the labor charges, and also some material rents, allowances, etc., we have to take from the standard schedule of rates. Means whatever it was prescribed in standard schedule of rates, that we have to adopt here. For labors it may be, or for materials it may be, or for equipment it may be, or rental for the equipment it may be, we have to adopt from that only. So that may be changing up from year to year. Schedule of rates may be revised every year, which may be coming into existence from August, or July and August. In between that it is going to get into existence. So that time we have to update to that new SSR for new rates, revised rates. Okay. So next one, latest steel and cement rates fixed by government. So whenever you are preparing an estimate, daily or latest revisions in the rates of the steel and cement, that also we have to get updated. Why? Because when we are calculating the rate analysis, or when we are performing the rate analysis, the rate of these materials is very important. Steel and cement are the bulk components which are used in the preparation of concrete, or preparation of brickwork, or preparation of beams and columns. We will be using steel as well. So that is why the rates of the steel and cement, which are more abundantly used in the construction work, that should be known from time to time, and that should be adopted, okay, when you are preparing the estimate. Next, AP revised standard data part 3. So what is this standard data? Standard data means uh, material specifications, or work specifications. For example, brickwork. So when we are constructing a brickwork, there are so many questions like what is the type of bond we have to use, what is the type of mortar we have to use, which proportion cement mortar we have to take. So in standard data it may be defined, whatever data you are taking up from the standard data, whatever you are adopting from standard data, and what you are prescribing, or what you are adopting standard data to the estimate, so that will be executed in the field. So the data will be extracted from the standard data to the estimate. From estimate it will be sent to approval. After approval, when you are executing, as per the estimate we will be executing, means as per the standard data, from whatever information we have acquired from standard data, that only we are going to execute, whatever it may be. So based on the limitation of funds, we will be choosing various types of materials, quality of material, or various options in same kind of material work. For example, brickwork is there. Brickwork can be laid with a cement mortar 1:3, or 1:4, or 1:6, right? So based on the importance of that particular brickwork and necessity of that brickwork, we will be adopting which type of cement mortar, brickwork with which type of cement mortar we have to adopt, that will be decided. So like that, based on the requirement we will be selecting. Similarly, some materials may be there, grade 2 material will be there, grade 2, grade 3 filling soil will be there, for example. So the filling soil will be, if you take filling soil by sand with grade 2 or grade 1 sand, if you prescribe, means it is a good quality sand. So that is more costlier when compared to grade 3 material. Grade 3 filling material means it may be quarry rubbish, or quarry dust, or silty soil, like that it will be there. So that is why which material you are adopting from standard data, that we will be choosing here, and which is suitable there, and with our suitable funds, limited funds, we will be choosing that from the standard data, and that standard data will be incorporated in the estimate, and from that it will be executed in the field after a proper approval. Next one, material source information. What is this material source information? So material source information, if you see where the materials are going to be procured from, where it is available actually, that is what we call material source information. And lead of the material sources from work site. So how much far away they were located, the material sources are at which distance, and what are the exact locations of that material sources. So based on that, a lead statement is going to be prepared, which is also going to greatly affect the rate of the components, and as well the estimated amount also, it is going to be get affected because of this lead statement. Okay, so this is about basic steps. So next, coming to the estimate, what are the information that are to be procured, if you see regarding this estimation when you are preparing an estimation. So firstly, specification report. Specification report is important. detailed estimate is important, abstract estimate is important, lead statement is important, data for civil items, data for joinery items, data for water supply and sanitary items, data for electrical items, and architectural drawings. Means these are the components of the estimate. So when you are preparing an estimate, it will be containing, if you see any estimate of Excel sheet which is in Excel format, if you see there are so many number of pages at the bottom. So first page will be specification report, second page will be detailed estimate, third page will be abstract estimate, fourth page will be lead statement. So like that, all these steps will be there as individual parts or parts of this estimate. So if you take estimate file, it will be of 20 or 50 pages document. In that, all these aspects, all these information will be procured in that, or all this information will be gathered, and this estimate will be prepared. It is a combination of all these types of information. Estimate means not only estimate, it includes specification report, detailed estimate, abstract estimate, lead statement of the materials, and data for civil items will be there, data for joinery items will be there, data for water supply and sanitary items will be there, data for electrical items will be there, and architectural drawings also will be there as part of the estimate. Specification report. So what is this specification report? Means name of the work, name of the grant, estimate cost, administrative sanction details, necessity of work, work items proposed, statutory abstract provisions, details of SSR adopted. So first of all, specification report name itself says that it includes some information regarding the guidelines of the work. So that is what we call details of SSR adopted, means from the standard schedule of rates, whatever the rates you are adopting, that will be there. Similarly, project information will be there in the specification report. What kind of project information? Name of the work will be there, name of the grant will be there, estimated cost will be there, administrative sanction details, who has approved that sanction details will be there, necessity of the work will be there, work items proposed, what are the work items proposed, that also will be there, and abstract provisions, what are the provisions provided during the work, that also will be there. So that is what we call specification report. This is also going to be prepared in a detail, so that in some cases of works there will be 300 to 500 pages specification report. Means that much important it is. Why? Because every item of work, specifications for every item of work will be included in this specification report. If you take a 100 crore project or 200 crore project, in that cases it will be 300 or 400 pages document. Specification report itself will be a 300 or 400 pages document. That much important it is. Why? Because every specification will be prescribed there, which are going to be adopted, which should be adopted during the execution of work. Okay, next coming to detailed estimate. What is detailed estimate? So in the detailed estimate, it consists of specification of items, measurement, quantities and units. So what are the measurements you are going to do from the drawings, whether it may be architectural drawing or whether it may be structural drawing? What are the measurements and what are the quantities of the materials we have estimated? That will be there. Specifications and units are in accordance with the APDSS, Andhra Pradesh Detailed Standard Specification. So this document is concerned with our AP state. So that is why that was mentioned here. APDSS Detailed Standard Specification, as per the specifications prescribed from Andhra Pradesh State Board Standard Specifications document, that will be considered here in the specifications of the work. Next, lead statement. So what kind of information this lead statement will be containing? So if you see that, so first one, description of quarrying material. Which kind of material is going to be quarried from the particular location? For example, gravelly soil is one material. So description of that gravelly material. So gravelly soil, what kind of gravelly soil it is? What is the liquid limit? What is the plastic limit it should possess? What is the CBR value? So like that, specifications for that material will be given there. that is what we call description of quarrying material. Initial cost of quarrying material, what is the basic initial cost at the quarry, that rate will be prescribed in the lead statement. And description of source of quarrying material, so from which place this at which source it is available, what is the description regarding that source of quarrying material, at which place it is available, and at which distance the source of item of work site from source from work site, how much distance from the source. So distance of source from work site, so how far the source is from the work site condition, from the working area, what is the distance of the source of the material, quarry material is at which distance, whether it may be at 10 kilometers or 20 kilometers or 60 kilometers or 100 kilometers also sometimes, or more than 100 also. So that is what we call lead distance. So conveyance charges of the material, how much is the conveyance charge, what is the charges to be paid for transporting that material from that particular source to the particular destination, that is what we call conveyance charges of the material. Loading and unloading charges, what is the loading charges for that particular material at that source point, and what is the unloading charges for the particular material at the destination point. So loading and unloading charges also will be there, and total cost of the material to reach a particular location or particular work site. So what is the final cost of that material, and that will be there in the lead statement. So this is about lead statement. Next, coming to data. So what is this data? Data means nothing but specifications. Standard data means standard specifications. So rates for all building items are to be arrived in accordance with the AP revised standard data for buildings. So here it is data means specifications, not only specifications, here it includes standard information regarding the work. When we are performing the rate analysis, when you are doing the rate analysis, we'll be depending on standard data for quantity of work done, or quantity of work performed by the labor, or quantity of work performed, and percentage of charges to be given, charges to be given for additional allowances or for materials like that, and all that will be taken up from standard data. So here you can see data structure consists of cost of the materials. What is the basic cost of the materials? Next, hire charges of the machinery. What is the hire charges or rental charges to be paid for machinery? Centering charges and labor charges. So here we have to see labor charges when we are calculating labor charges. For example, if we take a PCC bed, we have to lay a PCC bed. So the quantity of PCC bed, when we are calculating quantity of PCC bed, depth of the foundation, similarly length and breadth of the foundation, these are the three basic terms we have to take. From that we are going to get the quantity of the PCC bed, right? So after getting the quantity, we have to know the unit rate of that PCC. So when we are preparing a PCC of 10 cubic meter or 100 cubic meter, how much quantity of labor is required, how much quantity of skilled labor is required, how much quantity of unskilled labor is required, how much percentage we have to give for machinery for mixing this, all that we have to calculate. So for that percentages and for that the proportion to be given for labor charges, and similarly for skilled labor and unskilled labor, all that factors will be getting from the standard data only. So that is the importance of this data, mainly for calculating the rates, unit rate of a particular item of work. Also additional area allowances on labor charges if any, and overhead and contractors profit total cost for a particular item of work, all that will be rate analysis can be performed effectively with the help of this data. Next one, abstract estimate. So what is this abstract estimate? So after arriving the quantities, so first of all detailed estimate we are going to prepare, and we are going to calculate all the quantities with the help of LBH, length, breadth and height. Similarly length, breadth and thickness with the help of that, or some for some elements will be having area calculations, so that also will be doing. So like that we are going to calculate the quantity of the material. After getting that, we are going to perform rate analysis with the help of standard data. So once the rate is calculated, once the quantities are calculated, then we'll be getting the total cost. Okay, so quantity into rate, it gives you the total cost. So like that, after getting the total rates, we are going to prepare this abstract estimate. Okay, so after arriving the quantities and rates, abstract estimate has to be prepared with the following details. So what are the columns involved in abstract estimate? If you see, what is the quantity of item, rate of item, unit of item, amount of item and total estimate value with the statutory provisions. Additional provisions will be there, all that additional provisions will be allowed, and then what is the final total estimate value that we are going to get out of this abstract estimate. So what are these statutory provisions? So in that provision will be made towards price adjustments for steel and cement, provision towards unforeseen items of work, provision towards GST, that is around nearly 12%, and provision towards seigniorage charges. What is this seigniorage charges? So seigniorage charges means the amount that is paid as a gratitude towards a mining department, that is what we call seigniorage charge. So seigniorage charges will be there for mining department, like for different items of work, like brickwork is there, brickwork or bricks. For example, bricks will be prepared out of clay. Clay is a geological product, so that is why it belongs to mining department. Some rate will be prescribed there based on the quantity of bricks used. Some factor will be there. With the help of that factor and with the help of the rate, we are going to get how much amount to be paid regarding these bricks towards mining department. Similarly, gravel is there, or 40 mm metal is there, HBG metal will be there, or 20 mm HBG metal will be there. So all these are out of mining only. All these are extracted out of quarrying, and all those are geological products only. So that is why we have to pay seigniorage to the mines department regarding this usage of 40 mm metal or 20 mm metal, whatever it is there. For that we have to pay these seigniorage charges. Similarly, sand is there. If you are using sand, definitely will be using sand, right? So that's why for sand also, how much quantity of sand we have used in that project, so based on that we have to pay seigniorage charge towards sand also for the mines department. So like that seigniorage charges will be there. Next, provision towards electrical services and connection and service line charges, and provision towards soil investigation charges, soil testing will be there. So for that some provision will be allowed, 5% or 6%, and provision towards NAC 0.1%, and QC charges will be around 0.5%. So all these are statutory provisions that are going to be provided along with the estimated cost. Okay, so finally we are going to get the total estimated value after adding all these statutory provisions also. So these are the various steps involved in preparing an estimate. Hope this video is useful for you. Thank you.